It's back. Before we get into the news this week, make sure you follow us on Facebook and then follow us on Instagram and then subscribe too. So, to get started, the XFL is back. A group of investors, including Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, are buying the XFL, which was formerly owned by Vince McMahon. I really like the XFL, and I think this is a smart move.
I liked watching XFL because it's not like a carbon copy of the NFL. They have their own rule sets. They have like they're basically their own thing. You can't really compare it to the NFL solely because it's a game of football. I like the XFL too because it gives a chance for like athletes to possibly make it to the NFL because regardless of the way you look at it, the XFL is kind of like the D2 league for the NFL. So it's a good way for scouts in the NFL to pick up raw talent on these other teams. And that's not to like downgrade diminish what the XFL has done. They've done a really good job. And I one day would like to see it rival the NFL.
Yeah, you have to look at it as football as a whole, not just the NFL as a league. The XFL would have provided some sort of funnel of players like the NCAA has, just another way for players to showcase their talents and to potentially be signed on to an NFL team. And I thought it was a really fun league. I really enjoyed watching it, even though our Florida team, the Tampa Bay Vipers, were probably the worst team in the league. It was still a lot of fun to watch. So I really hope I can see it can come back. Dwayne and those investors, they can just throw a bunch of money at it, and it can come back in 2021 because it was a fun league. I really enjoyed it. Someone who we can see potentially playing in the XFL in 2021, Antonio Brown has been suspended 8 games by the NFL for allegedly sexually assaulting his former trainer. Now, he's not even on a team. I didn't even know players could get suspended when they weren't even in the league, but apparently they can. And so if he is signed on to a team, or regardless whether he's signed on to a team or not, the suspension will start with week 1 in 2020. So will he ever get signed? I don't think he's ever going to get signed, especially after this.
Yeah, this is a real blow to any hopes for him signing with the Ravens, the Eagles, these big teams who were looking to sign him. But yeah, it just hurts because whether you like him or not, Antonio Brown was a presence in the NFL. He was Tony Toe Tap to a lot of cornerbacks, and it was a nightmare to play up against him. But I was looking forward to his return because I felt like he changed a little bit. He was able to make it back to the NFL, but I don't know. Maybe he's got to go to the NBA or something.
The NFL and the NFLPA came up with a new collective bargaining agreement, a new CBA, that allows player opt-outs for the 2020 season, especially with all of the COVID-19 concerns. Some notable players who have already opted out of the 2020 season are safety Patrick Chung, running back Damian Williams, and linebacker Devontae Hightower. Now, the team that took the hardest hit may be a surprise to you, and that's the New England Patriots. They have already had 8 players opt out of the 2020 season, more than any other team. So these players are obviously opting out for their safety, the safety of themselves and the safety of their families, for potentially taking back this virus to their homes. But this could also be some sort of scheme by Bill Belichick to sort of tank and get another quarterback. What do you think, X?
If anybody can find a way to take advantage of this, it's Bill Belichick. He's the smartest, probably head coach in the NFL.
Now, another noticeable rapper, not by the name of Antonio Brown, but by the name of J. Cole, is trying to make his way into the NBA. You know, I'm not really so sure about this one. I think he's going to get bodied if he does make it.
I mean, we did see him in the celebrity game. He did ball out and he's been working out. He's had these workout videos with his trainer. I wouldn't rule him out. I don't know. It would be fun to see him play for like the 76ers or somewhere. Like it's just his hometown.
Some bum ass team or something like that. Yeah. He can just slide onto a roster spot, drop like 30 a game or something like that.
Just put him on the Nets. Like KD and Kyrie carry him real quick.
The new super team over there.
Right, there you go.
He might get bodied. He may get buckets. Who knows? All right, the last piece of news that we're going to cover today is another disgruntled wide receiver. Again, not by the name of Antonio Brown. OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., doesn't think there should be a season. In an interview recently, he says that owners don't see the players as human, and he really didn't see the point of starting the NFL season in 2020. But he recently saw the safety precautions that the Browns organization was taking in order to keep players safe, and he is not going to be opting out of the 2020 season, regardless of what he said in the interview. So does OBJ have a point with canceling the season and not having a season and keeping players safe for the 2020 season?
Well, yeah, he has a major point. I know people are giving him hate because it's easy to hate on Odell, but like it's true. Like there are organizations that don't care about the players. We've seen that time and time again, and thankfully the Players Association has been cracking down on owners because I feel like the biggest example of that is Calvin Johnson. They wanted him to play with notable concussions, and that's why he retired. These are that's the major one, but like we don't even know about the smaller like non-superstar players who have been forced to play or cut contracts, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on, I'm sure, in the NFL that especially goes all the way up to the owners that own all these teams, multi-billionaires. So there's got to be some secrets within these organizations. But I agree. I think Odell definitely has a point with the 2020 NFL season. It's going to be hard to keep all of these players sort of quarantined and safe, especially. And I think the NFL is going to be the hardest sport to play during this whole pandemic,
Yep.
regardless of taking out basketball or including basketball and baseball, because it's the biggest roster. You got the biggest personnel out there, like the biggest team as a whole. There's so many steps in the organization. They got big facilities and all that. It's kind of hard to do that. Whereas the NBA, you got 15 roster spots. You bring like 3 or 4 coaches, and you're all set pretty
Yeah,
much.
especially with the stroke of luck because they had the bubble and
Yeah.
the one court in Orlando where they all can play.
It's going to be tough for the
Yeah.
NFL to like create sort of a bubble atmosphere, or they may just go the route that the MLB is doing and have all the teams play in their stadiums and have them travel across the country. Who knows? But yeah, Odell definitely has a point. 2020 season could be a little iffy for NFL players, so we'll just have to see how it goes. All right, that's all we got for you today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow our socials, like this video, and subscribe, but only if you want to. I can't force you to do that.
Yeah.